Mobile games suck. I'm sorry, it's true. Basically every mobile game is either a money-grubbing, soulless, cash-grabbing husk of a game, or a clone of one that is. Like what is this? Why? Why? This is the same game. But very rarely, once in a full blue moon, something comes along that disrupts this stationary status quo, and I'm here to talk about that. First of all, major spoilers. If you haven't played this game, play it. It's free, it's on mobile, and it only takes 2 to 3 hours at most to complete. Then please come back here, because I judge my self-worth on the imaginary internet number going up. What is Datawing, you may ask? It's a video game, and it's pretty great. Created by Dan Vogt. Oh, that's probably a slur. It is a 2D racing game with an amazing vaporwave aesthetic. Now, racing games have never really been my thing. In fact, I have basically never played any racing game of any kind. I mean, unless you count Turbo Kart Racing from Hypixel. Oh, and Mario Kart, I guess. But this game, well, let's talk about it. Now, real quick, let me address the elephant in the room. The graphical quality doesn't look great, and I apologize for not having a fucking RTX
40,000
attached to my phone. The graphics are great. They're amazing in-game, but blown up to 10,000%, they don't look as good, to say the least. Now onto the core gameplay. The control you have over your character is incredibly simple but effective. You can choose to either tap left to go left, or tap right to go right, and if you tap both at the same time, you brake. That's it. However, the gameplay is much more complex than this, almost all of it due to one mechanic. Meet the, well, I don't really have a name for it, so let's call it wall drifting. If you angle your character just right against a wall, you can use the thrusters on your back to boost off of it. This causes an incredible increase in momentum, which if you angle your character right again, you can wall drift off another wall, picking up even more speed. Which, let me go off on a tangent real fast and talk about speed, because it is done amazingly in this game. The sense of speed is incredible. The way the HUD warps around you as you wall drift not only conveys growing momentum, but it also helps you zone out and get into the rhythm of everything around you. It's such a small detail, but it adds so much to the experience. But you must be careful, because if you pick up too much speed, you can run directly into a wall and lose all of it. But it's not game over if you crash, as the acceleration speed is incredibly high, and you can get back into the flow of things within a few seconds, along with the help from a few boost pads. Simple but effective gameplay, 8 out of 10. But these controls would be useless without good level design. And oh, the level design. As stated prior, for the most part, levels consist of a loop with twists, turns, and boost pads. The goal is to get around the loop within the minimum time requirement. Along with this, you can optionally try to get faster times to complete challenges. Everything is very minimalistic. The maps aren't overly complicated except for a few special cases, and it all flows together incredibly well. I tended to like the time trial maps more, where it wasn't a loop but more of a zigzag line up. One thing I didn't enjoy were the more open maps. These focused a little bit on exploration and finding keys. They didn't really vibe too well, as you couldn't really boost off too many surfaces and they didn't really mesh well with the controls. Plus, they don't really have much replay value, though they are pretty novel when you first encounter them. But the worst I can say about any of Datawing's levels are, they are average. Except this one. Why? Dear Lord, why would you do this? Why? 8.5 out of 10. No, 8 out of 10, because that level sucks. Jesus Christ. The story, while sweet, didn't really grip me. That being said, for a mobile game, it is the goddamn Mona Lisa. It follows the story of a young girl that is sent to a talented and gifted camp. Now, I'm a bit weird when it comes to liking stories. A core part of liking a story for me is relatability. Now, I'm a bit of a dumbass, so in turn, I didn't really get invested much in this story. Though one of the things I did like about it was how you were revealed information through text files you find as you progressed. It really gives you the sense of going on a continuous journey, and the characters are all great as well. All in all, the quality of the story is fairly good, and for some, it might hit quite a bit harder, especially the last few sections. 7.5 out of 10. So far, everything I've reviewed about this game has been average. Now, I am reviewing it as I would any other game, but it is a noble game, which are notorious for being, how you say, little bit dog shit? So basically add 1.5 to whatever score you see here. And one very odd thing to note, this is one of the only mobile games that I have ever played that doesn't have a monetization scheme that solely takes advantage of children and the elderly. So I'm gonna give this game a 0 out of 10. Tune in next time for more ANCAP reviews. But really, there are quite literally 0 microtransactions of any kind, including ads. In fact, there's a pretty funny running gag that you are awarded with gems that are absolutely worthless. The only place in the entire game where you can spend money is a merch shop, like IRL merch. And the best thing is you can play the entire game without being forced to go to it until the credits. It doesn't need to force you there with some shitty pop-up every 5 nanoseconds. Instead, it does a little psychological trick I like to call the monkey likes the shiny effect. See, in the loading screen, there are 3 buttons. The settings button, the play button, and the shiny heart. Now, I'm gonna give you 3 guesses onto which one I clicked first. Now, so far, this game is average. But the thing that puts this game a cut above the rest is the music and sheer unadulterated vibes. All the background music from this video has been from the Datawing soundtrack, and this soundtrack, it is amazing. I mean, just listen to some of it. All of this just compounds upon the vaporwave style. Let me tell you about the graphics and stylization of this game. As you have probably seen, it is fairly simplistic, but I would argue that only adds to the charm. The color scheme and backgrounds are also of note. Levels can be ultra minimalistic with just a black and white color scheme, or they can be vibrant with pulsing shapes in the background. And the music tends to match the vibe of each level perfectly, whether it is a chill, slow-paced song for a relaxing stage that you can just zone out to, or fast-paced, tense music for all the time trial stages. The music and stylization combine in such a way that I can't imagine having one without the other. This is honestly one of the best vibes I've ever gotten from a game. 9 out of 10. Also, a little small thing to note, the music keeps playing even after you beat a level, so you can just continue to vibe with it until you click off, which is a nice little thing I found. The final score I give Datawing is an 8.5 out of 10. Don't check the numbers. It is truly a hidden diamond in a sea of dumpsters that are on fire, and it gives me hope that maybe one day there will be more mobile games that value the experience instead of just watching a number go up. I can only hope. Well, anyways, if you enjoyed this video, consider subbing, liking, sharing. It took me a little while to make, and I'm planning on making more. Goodbye.